Usually when you build one of these, they're called a bent, a B-E-N-D-T. It would normally go from here up, all the way up. Try not to get focus on my hand, all the way up to there and come down this side and all the way down to there with your beam across and your uprights with your angle braces, and they're all in one big piece. So you can see how it appears that it's all one big giant truss. You can build them and stand them up like that. Then you take your beams up here that goes between, and you would mortise and tin those in. But since I'm by myself and I built this house by myself, there's no way I could have built that thing and brought it up all by myself. Getting these one at a time. People say, how did you build this house by yourself? And I'm like, oh, that's easy. One board at a time. Boom, 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 boom. One board at a time. So the style here was the center of this house is one big, I say a kit, but I cut it. I built it myself and designed it. But when we cut this lumber, I kind of milled it in determining how I was going to cut it and where the beams and all the uprights and angle braces were going to be. And here's a little puzzle question for you. How many cuts are on that and that to make that fit into those pockets? We'll come back to that, but don't let me forget. So these open stairs right here, I actually built these before, like right after I got the post standing up and the beams standing up, and I framed the outside walls over on the kitchen area and the bedroom area, which is back there. I went ahead and framed these stairs so we'd have a way to get up and down with the materials. By the way, the joinery in that one cut I just explained is 17 cuts. So, the way it works is, this is the first big rafters we put up. There's a cut, a bird's cut, call it bird mouth. See how it's cut? It goes up and across. And luckily this is a 12-12 pitch, which means it's 45 degrees. So you come up and across, and the back end comes up. And there is a 1.5 inch dowel driven down into that corner all the way through almost to the bottom of that beam right there. So these were stood up together. This beam and that beam were all stood up together, and I put them together with 1.5 inch dowels and stood those two up and then hit a brace. Then I came back and I stood those two up, and then they were in place. And then I came here and I put all these cross members in. And those cross members is what holds the actual flat rafters up. I know they're just 2x4s, but the whole grid system itself, there's another 2x6 roof on top of this roof. That's where you had to put your insulation when you have an open ceiling like this. You just frame it up, put your decking board. Those are 1-inch tongue and groove decking boards. And there's another roof on top. So you stand up a rafter, you stand up another rafter, and then you put your cross members in. I think when I first put it up, I put that cross member in, and then maybe that cross member up there. And then I moved over to that cross member, and then one at the bottom over here. And then I moved to the next rafter, and I got all these rafters set. But I was smart. I didn't work over this giant hole right here. These beams right here, from there to there to there, I laid an entire floor across these and put my scaffolding up here. So it was pretty, it didn't look like it was, 22 feet down from the point. But man, isn't this thing just beautiful? So there's my windows. Y'all know from the last video, I found these in the trash. Or no, wait, these three came from a surplus house in the big city. And I think they were maybe $50 a piece for that one, and that tall one, and that one. And believe it or not, I'll show you when we get back downstairs, this little pattern right here is in that door that's almost 100 years old that I found in the trash. So it's pretty cool that they kept that pattern going. It's a door company out of Jacksonville, Florida. So once we got our main king rafters up, we put these collar ties in, which they were pretty hard to put in because, again, there's no nails there. The only nails are right there holding up these cross members, because just by code I had to have those there. There is also a strap across here that goes from this all the way across to here. It's probably about 5 inches to about 5 inches. It's a 16-inch strap that goes across the top. So it nails into this, then nails into the beam, and then nails into this, which holds it together this way and won't allow them to separate. So what else can we talk about here? These flat 2x4s were put there just to have the decking, something to nail, to nail the deck into. I didn't want to put them here. I also wanted that pocket look in there where it's open web and you can see down through all of them. It's a super cool look. But I could have ran my decking up and down and, nailed it to these cross members, but I didn't want that. I wanted the look where it went back and forth from front to back like that. So anyway, it also allowed me to run my 2x6 roof on top of this roof directly over the top of these. These are on a 16-inch on center layout all the way from the front of the house all the way. You can see how that one kind of falls right there, and then this one falls way over there, but because that's 16 inches from there to there. So it's basically, we pulled from the front gable and just went 16, 16, 16, 16, all the way to the back of the house. So our 16-foot tongue and groove decking, everywhere, it breaks everywhere on the joist. You don't see any joints out in the middle. They all break right on top of those 2x4s. So this handrail, this was trash. Somebody brought these over one day, and just like you can see, that one's kind of red, and that one's a little bit blue, and that one's blue, and that one's black, and they were just used used steel from other things. I mean, they were really nasty and had welding all over them, but you could tell how I just kind of grinded them in the corners and welded them all together. But it's perfectly laid out. You can see how it kind of angles up a little bit right here. That's because that little ramp angles up a little bit. Actually, this wasn't even on the blueprints. None of this from right here. This was supposed to be just handrails right here on the front of this loft area. So you just kind of look over the living area down there. But I thought, man, what a waste of floor space, and we were going to put our library up here, because before this was going to be a house, and now it's not. We have purchased a house in town, and this is now the Mojo Recording facility. So this kind of was just extra, I thought, what a waste of footage. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a library. So now it's just going to be, I don't know, you can put guitars up here. You can do acoustic bass, acoustic guitars. Excuse me. So you could do all kind of stuff and get this cathedral. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, downstairs and upstairs, you would think, it's like, have a real loud smack back and forth with this sound, but it literally goes into these rafters and just sucks it up into this cathedral. It gives it that, if you ever listen to Led Zeppelin, when the levee breaks, they recorded it in that big mansion in the stairwell going up to the second and third floors. And that's what gave it that classic John Bonham sound. But hopefully we can achieve something kind of similar with these. But anyway, so that is the up in the loft area, and the vault, the cathedral, whatever you want to call it. Cathedral, not a vault. A vault is one-sided. And I was just telling you, you're gonna see this keyway. What happens is that keyway is cut on a 10-degree angle that way, and that one's cut on a 10-degree angle that way. So what happens is this board can't lift up there, or it can't lift down there, and then this 2-inch keyway block drives in and locks it down. So it keeps your beams from separating that way. And then by code, you see the bolt in there. See that bolt right there? I had to put bolts in there by code just to lock those beams together. But I kind of am happy about it. And this little ledge right here, believe it or not, I'm probably going to set a guitar amp in here. That's why I put that outlet right there. I want to set a guitar amp in this little vaulted area right here over the stairs. Okay, let me back up so you can see it. So it's just kind of over the ceiling there. And I was going to make a little more closet space inside of there, but I thought, you know, what a good opportunity to just move that wall back a foot and put a guitar cabinet there, you know, maybe like a little combo amp or something, and plug it in right there. So, moving on. These doors, I don't know if I told you all about these doors. We found these doors at the surplus place, and I think they were $10 a piece, and they had a matching set. They actually had about 5 or 6 of these doors, and they came from a house somewhere up in Georgia. They were obviously used. But this was actually a matching pair that has the mullion strip down the middle with the rubber in it. So I lucked out on that. And then this bathroom, haven't went real far with this bathroom yet. It's ready to paint, but this bottom section is going to get what is either called Judge's panel or Wayne's coating or whatever. Judge's panel is where you put the squares on it with your trim inside the squares. I like that look, but it will be a lot easier to go ahead and put the Wayne's coating on. That's the bead board. And then there'll be a trim ledge up top. So the reason I had to do that is I was going to make surface mount copper pipes. And this county, well, most of the state of Florida won't let you run copper pipes anymore because of the moisture here, and the salty air eats up that resin off of the, or the, not the resin, but the solder out of the joints, and causes it to leak inside. So I was going to run, I'd already put the drywall on the walls. I was going to do it over here in the kitchen too. I was going to run surface mount copper and make it look all steampunk. But guess what? They wouldn't let me do it. So I had to build, you can see that little knee wall back there too, and all my pipes coming through it there. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the steampunk look because it would have been so cool. But they didn't let me. But, oh well, whatever. And then this pipe, they actually yelled at me, this is CPVC, and I just sprayed it black after I put it all together. And they were like, you can't spray that black. I said, well, it's just painted. It's just spray paint. So anyway, if I couldn't have that yellow pipe right there, it was just ugly. So I just sprayed it black. But it's all coming together. It's just beautiful. Look at this thing. But this, oh yeah, I don't know if I showed you all this, but this is what it looks like all the way trimmed, you know, around the columns and the beams and everything. So here's a cool thing. I just got my electrical outlets fired up yesterday. There used to be cords coming from that one outlet over there, just a bunch of them. A couple going to the saws, one's going to the lights. But anyway, I got that in. And this was going to be TV places. I was going to have one over here. And then if I wanted to, I could switch the living room around and put the TV on that wall. And then I have an old speaker wire set going through the walls that was supposed to go in there, but I don't have to do that anymore since this is going to be a recording studio. The console is going to sit all the way across right there with about 3 feet on each side to go around. So it's going to be a live studio where the console's in the room with the bands live. And haven't decided yet if I'm going to block off this with glass And then this side will be a sliding glass door with another glass over the top of it, or just leave it open. The one thing you cannot cook in a recording studio is fish or any kind of fishy products. You just can't do it. It's not allowed. It leaves the grossest smell in gear, electronics. So anyway, this will still be a bedroom. It's going to be what we call the live-in recording studio. And up there, same thing. That room up there is a bedroom. So what we're going to do is you're going to have the ability to come stay here and record and stay for a while. But there's the console. That is the console from Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. It is a 56 channel Kodak. And man, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I'll try to plug it, a little picture in the video if I remember, but don't hold me to it. But there'll be more videos. But that is a vintage Kodak. And then this is the bathroom. It's a walk-in shower with dual shower heads in there. So we'll get around to getting this done. But anyway, I'm trying to get the living room done now so I can get this console in there and get it out of these road cases so it can start to breathe. And then this closet, this was going to be a bedroom closet, but is now going to be, guess what? A guitar amp closet. And then this closet is going to be a vocal booth right here. And there'll be a video screen on the wall right there. Because I don't want to cut through the walls. Like I say, it's a live-in recording studio. There'll be another video screen on the wall here with the camera feed that shoots it back and forth. You can see the artist in the vocal booth. That is if we don't do live vocals. I'm a fan of live vocals also. So anyway, we're starting to get everything cleaned up around here. The hurricanes were just brutal. And another thing is I was going to put this on the market. We just decided we wanted to just get out of here because the hurricanes just brutalized us. You can see all the trees. Big chunks of trees laying everywhere. See all the leaning trees? All those trees leaning is from the storms and they will not grow back straight again. But these whole woods, you used to not have a skyline through there. It was just from right here all the way around was a solid wall that you could not see through. And through 3 hurricanes, it has literally topped 90% of my trees. You can see right there, those trees, there, over there. That tree is broke off, that pine tree is topped out. And what happens when them trees top out, they start growing weird limbs on the top and they get heavy and they get too heavy for the stalk and they just die. So anyway, that is an update on the timber frame recording studio. So more will be revealed.